You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is...
Mr. Cooper?
There you go, Mr. Cooper. No, your name is Josh Schaefer.
No, Josh Schaefer. Hanging with Josh Schaefer.
Hanging with Josh Schaefer.
That sounds like a really bad thing that I would go to jail for.
I was going to say, that sounds like a court case. The People versus Hanging with Josh Schaefer.
And Queen Bee.
In the matter of Hanging with Josh Schaefer. So, if you hadn't gotten it from our really bad intro right there, we're going to be talking about sitcoms now.
Specifically Hanging with Mr. Cooper, starring Mark Curry.
Not Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Sitcoms from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yes, specifically. Although, I think we all have different tastes about what we watch, so I don't know that there's going to be a ton of overlap here. I'm curious about this. So, Josh.
Yes.
Favorite sitcom
from the 70s, 80s. You want me to do the 70s and then the 80s and then the 90s?
Wow, if you have three, go for it.
Well, I didn't know how you wanted to do it.
I don't know. You go. You figure it out.
I don't know if my dates are accurate or not because we're doing this, ad hoc kind of, but...
Okay.
70s, I would say that's M.A.S.H.
Was M.A.S.H 70s or was it 60s?
It's not. Can it be actually considered a sitcom? It's more of a dramedy.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
Three's
very
Company is 70s.
Here, ruling. If it has a laugh track, it's a sitcom. And
Okay.
I'm pretty sure M.A.S.H had a laugh track.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so it's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom. Yeah.
Single camera sitcom. I believe it does qualify.
We'll accept you from M.A.S.H.
Yeah.
The producer, Sven, said it came out in 72.
M.A.S.H. So, yeah, no, the movie was from the late 60s.
Yeah.
And that was, okay, so.
And then the 80s would be Golden Girls? Or was
Golden
that
Girls was 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 90s?
Fresh Prince.
Of Bel Air.
Of Bel Air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched a lot of sitcoms growing up. I can't say any of them are, like, a favorite of mine, though, because, like, I think they were just on because of TGIF.
Yeah.
And most of them, you go back and you watch them, like, actually, even watching them during the day, you're like, this is ass. Why am I watching this? And you just leave it on.
Yeah.
Right?
So, like,
It's formulaic.
It's something to watch and let your mind wander while you're watching and listening to something.
Family
else.
Matters, Full House, Step by Step.
Perfect
all of those.
Strangers.
Perfect Strangers. Although I like that one better
Perfect
than
Strangers.
better than Family Matters anyway. There's a couple really hysterical episodes of Perfect Strangers. Remember that? But yeah, most of
Bosom
those.
Buddies.
Oh, yeah. Bosom Buddies.
Tom Hanks
Tom
for
Hanks.
like one season.
Yeah. No, actually.
It didn't last that long.
I thought it was 2.
Was it
I thought
two?
It was 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where the guys have to pretend to be ladies.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it was a good apartment, but it was for ladies only
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it was Bosom Buddies and then Perfect Strangers right after that. So
Okay. And then, of course, there was Three's Company from the 70s, which
Yes.
had a similar premise of guy has to pretend to be gay to live in this apartment.
right, correct.
Because reasons.
Yeah, and then you have Cheers. That still holds up.
Cheers.
fairly
Cheers
well.
is
80s.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and
Frasier.
I like Frasier. I just can't binge watch Frasier because
No,
after like
it gets...
5 or 6 episodes, you're like, I've seen every story you guys have to tell.
See, I'm a little bit older, so Laverne and Shirley,
Oh, yeah.
Happy Days, classics.
Happy Days still holds up, too.
Mork
Yeah.
and Mindy is fun, especially
Mork
the
and
first
Mindy,
3
yeah.
seasons before they have a kid.
Right.
Yeah, like the kid ruins the whole story.
Kid always ruins everything. Even if you were to watch Brady Bunch, every
Cousin
time when they
Oliver.
brought in Oliver, it completely ruined the entire storyline.
Yeah.
Like, why? You don't need another one.
fucking Marsha.
Marsha.
Oh, we're twins now.
Had to set that up for you guys. That was teeing that one up for you. Well, but then honestly, Brady Bunch is another one of those shows you like had on because it was on, but you sit there and go and like, this is kind of ass.
Gilligan's
This really
Island.
sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Love Gilligan.
Yeah.
No, not
No,
a Gilligan.
Gilligan
fan?
didn't thrill me.
Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's? Okay. My dad loved Hogan's Heroes.
Did it have a decent theme song? I seem to recall it having a decent
It was an okay theme song.
Okay.
It wasn't really a theme. It was a theme song, but there was no singing in it.
Yeah.
It was more.
I think for me, what's weird
Like the
for me...
Sanford and Sons type.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Wah,
Not as
wah,
cool
wah,
as
Wow.
that.
Wow. I didn't even think you watched Sanford and Sons.
I didn't, but I know that goddamn theme song, okay?
I'm not a big Sanford and Sons. All in the Family.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that either.
Well, but I mean, I don't know as many sitcoms that I actually watched with any regularity from like the era I grew up in, because most of what I watched sitcom-wise was from Nick at Night,
Oh,
like
okay, good
later.
fair.
So
That's
I've
fair.
seen...
I Love Lucy.
I was gonna say,
type stuff,
I've
and-
seen a ridiculous amount of like F Troop and Green Acres and a bit of Bewitched too, because those were all just on while I was
Love
like
Bewitched.
preteen. Yeah,
Bewitched. I Dream of Jeannie.
Andy Griffith was kind of in that same era too, right?
Samantha is so much better than Jeannie.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. It's the same fucking show, basically, but Samantha is way more interesting than Jeannie was.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, no, you're not going to fight me on this?
I'm not going to fight you on
Wow,
this.
okay.
So.
It's a good show, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the first Darren, not the second.
No, nobody
No.
likes the second Darren.
Well, it got colorized, and second Darren was just an inferior Darren. The inferior. That's my new band. The inferior Darren. that is our band
it.
name now.
I love
You're in a band, guys.
I really like the band name, The Inferior Darren.
And
No
no one's
one's
named
gonna get-
Darren.
it. Nobody's
And no one's gonna get it, but it's so hysterical. Let's see if we can get our guitarist to sign off on this band
It's
name.
like what is it, the band The Decibels? Their
Yeah.
name's the DBs.
Yeah.
And their first album title was called The Decibels.
Yeah.
Or DB means decibels or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So we could do the same thing. Look, boom.
Just
But we're a
just
cover
use-
band, but we're good.
Well,
I'm rambling
you are.
You are.
about
rambling.
music.
Okay, so yeah, like I watched a lot of Green Acres. I can't say I liked Green Acres, but that theme song was infectious. Yeah.
Green Acres is a place for me.
Yes, and that's as far as we can go without paying license rights. But there was a whole like series of them that were on CBS at the time. That was like their
Petticoat Junction.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
it was that
Yeah.
era. It was like a whole block. They had a name for it. I just can't remember what the name was. But it was like Petticoat Junction and Green Acres and Beverly Hillbillies. Their hick block basically.
Yeah, it came on after the Keystone Comedy Hour,
Mm-hmm.
like after kids came home from school. So it started, I think, the Hick Hour started Hee Haw.
Yeah,
It
Hee Haw.
started with
That's
Hee
the
Haw.
fourth one. There you
And then
go.
it went
Yeah.
to all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hee Haw, a show I have never watched and feel no need to.
I used to watch when I was really young, but it's only like, I just remember the barn door thing opening.
I mean,
So it's like very vague.
okay.
It was hit comedy.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Early blue collar comedy.
There was because what else was there from that era of Nick at Night that I watched? Because there was the Patty Duke show
Okay.
with the mirrored camera effect, and then My Three Sons, which after like 2 seasons was a lie.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It just ended up being
It was like 2 sons and a cousin, and then eventually it was like 1 son, a stepson, and I was like, that's like the kid next door who just moved in. It was
probably named Eddie because
Yeah,
your neighbor's
sure.
always named Eddie for some reason. I don't know why.
and Leave It to Beaver, which
Leave
I
It-
could never
yeah.
get into because
Yeah.
it just sounded sexual.
Yeah.
Like, what are we leaving to this poor woman's vagina? I don't
You were
understand.
such an old child.
I thought that when I was 8, and I never managed to get past it. Okay. Plus, the beaver was just an obnoxious.
Did you
little
ever
tyke.
watch Mr. Ed by chance?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
on. That was on Nick at Night too.
Okay.
So,
And
I
then
didn't, I couldn't get into it.
What
either.
was the show with Van Dyke and
Mary
Mary
Tyler
Tyler Moore?
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Was that actually?
Yeah,
Dick
that was
Van
actually
Dyke?
its name.
Okay.
That was a
I
great
watched the
show.
shit out of that one.
That
That
was
was
a good
great.
show.
But
Yeah.
Dick Van Dyke is probably one of America's best leading men.
Still.
Like, still is.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, that leads me right into my favorite sitcom from the 70s.
Mary Tyler Moore Show?
The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
I almost said that instead
Yeah,
of MASH.
yeah.
If Sven said that MASH was the 80s, I would have chose Mary Tyler Moore.
Rhoda was okay, but the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the flagship, that was the best of those.
And you had Maude in that era, too. Maude was...
That was
That's,
about.
pretty good.
that's Betty White right there, too. Because she was in that.
Oh yeah, Betty White was on Mary Tyler Moore Show, not Maude.
And she's
Oh.
a national treasure, so.
Yeah, she is. She was an evil, vindictive bitch on that
Yes.
show, and it was fantastic.
Yes.
Which is what made her character on Golden Girls so amusing,
Yeah.
is that she went from this evil bitch to like this nice little, like, when are the claws gonna come out, girl? When's that happening? Because we
Never.
know it's
Wasn't
there.
there one episode where Rose was just so
She lost
evil?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
sure
there
there
was.
was.
There was one
Yeah.
episode.
One, because she's playing off that crap from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Yeah.
She's a very versatile actress.
She's very good in Cincinnati. I think it's called Cincinnati or
WKRP in Cincinnati?
no.
Okay. Taxi?
No.
Taxi's another good show, though.
I'll just keep listing random.
Christopher Lloyd, Andy DeVito.
Hot in Cincinnati. Something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Oh, the new show.
Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah, Hot
That's
in Cleveland.
It. It was a C. It's in Ohio.
Cincinnati, I would
whatever.
choose over Cleveland. No one goes to Cleveland.
No one goes to Cleveland.
That's why she can be hot there. It doesn't really matter. No one's paying attention.
She's very funny though.
Do
She's
what you
still
want,
very
Betty White.
funny.
She is. She's fantastic.
I love Betty White. She's so filthy.
And Cloris Leachman.
I was about
too.
to say the
playing
same
off,
thing. Yeah.
Playing off each other is hilarious. Yeah.
Cloris Leachman's so good, too, because what was she in last? Raising Hope? No one saw that. Okay.
No, sorry. That's sitcoms of the most recent era. Like, that's Community for me.
Well,
at that
you know,
point.
Josh likes watching those coming of age stories for young women.
Women coming of age in the 70s. Their 70s, specifically.
I can't help it. I have a very acute
He's
taste.
a buxom 16-year-old.
That is the romantic comedy that we will write, Josh. 70s and the 70s.
Nice.
With soundtrack by the inferior Darren.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now, there's also, those are American sitcoms, but there's also sitcoms from British TV.
Oh, I know.
like
Faulty Towers.
Faulty
Towers.
If you're going to say
Benny Hill
sitcom,
Show.
British, yeah. I mean, Monty Python wasn't a sitcom, but it was basically that same
It had a
era
laugh
of
track,
comedy.
though.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
It's British comedy.
I think they put a laugh track on it because they had to tell people when to laugh because that show's really
Really
fucked
confusing.
up.
Did it have a laugh track?
It
Was
did.
Was it
It did.
live?
No,
wasn't?
it was
Okay.
entirely pre-recorded because they do really weird segues between their
Yeah.
clips.
Yeah.
It's basically a sketch comedy show, but it's a sketch comedy show where they don't have an audience. They just throw a laugh
Where's
track
the
on.
one where they crush your head? What's that one?
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
That was
Kids
a
in the
great
Hall.
one too.
I love that one. It's not a sitcom, but
Is that? That's technically Canadian.
it's Canadian.
right? Okay.
It's Canadian. It was funded by co-production of like the CBC and HBO.
Yeah.
So HBO broadcast it first, and then basically anyone who's watched it really watched it on Comedy Central because they picked it up and ran it for like 10 years. The early seasons of Kids in the Hall are good. Later seasons,
Well, now you also have Friends, which was a
90s.
in the
No, it's
90s.
I didn't really watch it though.
It was okay.
I've watched it. I watched the entire series. but
Paul
it's
Rudd
not-
was in it
I
for a
don't
little bit.
It's like Frasier. It's the same fucking story like almost every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we were watching Paul Rudd on Graham Norton
Oh yeah.
last night, and he was talking about the last episode of Friends, and which he was in. He was like going, I just don't even know why I'm here. I've been in the series for like 3 episodes, and he's in like the final episode. And everybody's like, all the main stars are going around hugging the staff and everything. And so he walks over to Jennifer Aniston and goes, can you believe we've made it this far?
He is such a good
really
deadpan
is.
actor.
I love
though.
We love him.
Oh, Paul Rudd.
We love Paul Rudd. Just say it.
And he looks the same now as he did in Clueless.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
I was named after him, by the way.
Josh Paul Rudd Schaefer?
No, his name in Clueless was Josh.
Oh, was it?
I don't know. I'm just making
No,
shit
it
up.
was actually. It was
Yeah, I
Josh.
thought so.
It was.
It came out after I was born, but I think my mom had future sight. Anyway,
Wow.
I would have actually believed it more if you said my name was Cher. Josh Cher Schaefer.
That makes more sense.
Sir Schaefer. Sir Cher Schaefer.
sure. Sure.
Which, speaking of sitcoms from the late 90s, the Clueless sitcom, I think, was actually in the 2000s, and it was bad.
was it in the
it bad?
2000s?
It was just near the end of that, like
Yeah.
the 90s, if it was in the 90s, but it
I
was
think
bad.
it was late 90s because I remember watching it in middle school.
Okay. I'll
I
take
think.
it.
But I don't remember. I could be wrong because all
It
those
tried
years are.
it tried to be the movie, but with the production budget of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and wow, it couldn't do
I
it.
love Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Nope, didn't get into it. Sorry.
There's a talking cat.
Well, but you're like 4 years younger than I am, so like even just for that, there's a certain amount of overlap we
Yeah.
don't have. Like because Nickelodeon had a bunch of sitcoms like Hey Dude and
Clarissa Explains It All.
yeah, I watched that one and
was awesome.
Salute Your Shorts.
Salute Your Shorts.
Are
You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark wasn't a sitcom though.
Oh, you're right.
It did not have a laugh
It
track.
did not.
Wizards of Waverly Place. Now I watched
a
that
Disney
because
one.
that's what my kids
Yeah.
were watching. So
Yeah, I'm so sorry for you.
yeah, well,
The Nickelodeon sitcoms from the 90s, barring Hey Dude, which honestly was awful, were actually pretty decent.
Yeah. So there was Alex Mack. That was kind of a sitcom.
I actually liked that because that
Yeah.
like weird sci-fi superhero
Yeah.
sitcom for like 2 seasons.
It was like Buffy for kids.
yeah,
Kind of.
iCarly.
that's past my era.
Past your
Yeah.
era. Okay,
I know what it is.
That's your kids'
but I'm
era.
sad that
that's
I
my
know
kids'
what it
era.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Disney and Nickelodeon both have this weird thing where they run a show for 100 episodes and then immediately axe it, even if it's popular.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that either.
I think it's about this
Well, it's franchising or
syndication.
syndication. Thank you.
Yeah.
They want to be able to syndicate it, and 100 episodes is the syndication block. But
Well, now when you axe them, their stars go on to do porn and major TV roles. So who knows?
yeah,
It's one or the other, not both.
It's one or the
and
other,
in the
but
case
not
of the
both.
Red Ranger, both. Didn't the first Red Ranger go off to do gay porn?
I think that
Isn't
was
that
a
the rumor? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
he actually did though.
No. And then the Green Ranger just acts like a sleazy car salesman.
I mean, he's still in the TV.
I'm
know he
talking
is.
about Zendaya and the redhead. The redhead went off to do her own porn movie. She didn't. She directed the porn movie. She wasn't in it. I don't remember.
Wasn't
what
it
the
on
redhead's
YouPorn
name
or whatever?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
And she got an award for it too.
Yeah, a porn award, but
Yeah.
Hey, an award's an award.
Yeah, that's right.
If
Put
you
that on
do
your shelf
something,
next
you
to
wanna
your
do it
Emmy, and if you
right.
don't,
Is that the new EGOT?
Yes. EGOT P.
It would be a
Pegot.
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 Exactly. A Pegot.
How many people have one of those?
That sounds like you need Viagra for that. Call our man. Call back to the previous podcast. Anyway, do we have any other sitcoms? Anything we want to talk about? Do you want to just recite the lyrics to Golden Girls? Because you know you can.
I can.
I know you can. And Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, that one's going to be tougher because I have Golden Girls in my brain right now.
Well, all you got to remember is it starts with from...
In West Philadelphia,
Yeah,
born and
there you
raised.
go. Yeah, it just automatically starts. You can stop.
So which Golden Girl are you, Josh?
As I said before we started, I think I'm a Dorothy, but I know deep down I'm a Rose.
Okay.
I'm a sassy broad. I'm a Sophie.
You're a
Sophia?
Sophie?
Sophia.
Sophia. Yeah.
Sophia's choice.
I'd
They're both
like to
sassy.
actually think that I'm kind of a Blanche, or
can see
was a
that.
Blanche at one point. I'm probably more of a Dorothy, though.
I am in no way, shape, or form any of the women from Sex and the City.
No.
Oh,
You're the Martini.
fuck that show.
Is that a sitcom? We'll count
If it didn't have a laugh track, no.
Yeah.
That was our qualification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can talk about what your least favorite sitcom is.
Well, it's not Sex and the City because it's not a sitcom. I would probably say Full House. Full House sucks. I didn't even bother watching Fuller House because Full House sucks.
Okay.
I just hate it. And it's so saccharine and so just like, woo, we're a loving family. But nothing they do is interesting or... And then fucking Uncle Joey, the goddamn Dave Coulier,
Coulier?
he's obnoxious. Fucking hate him. Who else is going to go?
Just tell us how you feel there, Mike.
Fuck Full House.
I can say Big Bang Theory. That's my least favorite.
Oh, that's a good one. Because, I mean, like, the first couple seasons were good, and then they really
okay.
got on these geeks are funny for being nerdy and geeks, and let's just laugh at them. And I lost interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you're not a fan of Big Bang? Okay.
But that's not really in the period we're talking about, though, is it?
He also doesn't like the Big Bang in general because the universe sucks.
It never happened. Prove
Like,
it, nerds.
Flat Earth, Josh.
Okay, but yeah, no, she's right. From the era we were specifically trying to target, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and failed at completely. What's your least favorite?
Well, I had to think again because Big Bang Theory, I think, was the early aughts.
It was early
right?
aughts. It started
Or
like
mid-aughts.
yeah.
Man, so many bad things.
Oh, so many bad. You can just go with Hee Haw. We'll just let that happen.
Yeah, Hee Haw would be. I kind of want to say the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. Remember that one?
Oh,
The
yeah.
puppet
I remember the dinosaurs.
From the 90s.
Yeah, that really
the mama.
annoyed-
It was really an obnoxious show.
It was obnoxious.
It was pretty obnoxious.
Well produced, but
Yeah.
really obnoxious, and ran for like 4 seasons because it just wouldn't end.
Yeah. Like I
And then
remember
it
I
ended
watched
really
it and-
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Had a
everyone
really
died.
sad ending.
Remember
It
that?
had a Grimm's fairy tale ending.
Wait, you mean they all died?
They all fucking. I mean, admittedly, if it's the dinosaurs on Earth, they're all gonna fucking die. We didn't have to see it happen.
Right?
Yeah,
They still had trillions of years.
they could have gone.
I don't think I ever saw the last episode, so thanks for that.
The dad gets like the company that he works for wants to do something, so they like drain a lake or something. So he's the guy who spearheads that. They drain the lake, and it causes like all the animal or the plants that were living there to die off. But when it does that, that was also the like feeding ground for these pests. So they then have to like kill the plants, and then the pests come out, and then they try and kill off the pests, and they basically nuke the world and cause the end of the world that kills the dinosaurs from this one family.
Wow.
And then everyone's freezing in their home, and the baby asks something like, "When is this gonna end?" And then the series ends.
Oh.
It's fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Wow.
It went 0 to 100 in
Yeah.
like an episode.
And it's like it's an ending you expect from Home Improvement because you've kind of figured to.
Oh, I want to
hate
change
that show.
I want to change my answer.
I also hate that
my
one.
answer. I forgot about Home Improvement.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but no, you expect Tim the Toolman Taylor to end the fucking world because he's obviously an operative for Skynet,
Right.
Like a badly programmed
Okay,
one.
I getcha.
But
I getcha.
But no, wow. What's yours?
All of those are awful. I would accept all of those answers. I think I already gave mine, though, because I'm really not a fan of Sanford and Son or All in the Family. I thought both of those shows were just so depressing.
Facts of Life can take a long walk off a short pier too. That one was saccharine and awful as well.
Okay, you're right. Most sitcoms kind of suck. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Too much
I had to
much
look it up.
saccharine.
Mama's Family.
God, God, I hate that one too.
My grandmother watched that all the time, and I remembered it, and I couldn't remember what it was, so I typed
You've
in.
blacked it out. It's that painful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carol Burnett made me very sad with that episode, with that show.
Yeah, she's a fantastic
Oh, yeah.
performer.
She is.
That show sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what was that show? Because I hated it, and I'd have to watch it.
It feels like it needs to be part of the Hick Hour, but it came on like 2 decades later. Yeah.
No.
I think it was mid 80s, late 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
So that is that is like 2 decades later. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So-
she was busy doing the Carol Burnett show at that time.
Which was fantastic.
Yes.
And then she did that instead. And you're
Right.
like, why, Carol? Why?
Oh, damn. Mama's Family lasted from 1983 to 1990.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was.
That's a long
it went
time for
way
that
too
show.
long for that horrible,
Yeah.
horrible show. It's like Family Matters. Why are we still watching this?
I like the first couple seasons.
Until Urkel became a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Urkelmania gripped society, I was there.
I will say Jaleel White, though, has had a very long career after
yeah.
recovering from being Urkel. He is like the voice of every Sonic and every Sonic production they've ever done from Sega.
He's, I think, successfully distanced himself from that.
He has. Well, he seems like a sane human being as opposed to Urkel.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, he gets residuals, so it's the obvious thing
Yeah.
of he doesn't fucking care at this point.
Laugh your way to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
And that's what
Mama's
you're supposed to
Family.
do if you're in a sitcom.
laugh your way to the bank.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, credit to all the Full House performers. They don't ever have to do anything else, even though they keep doing Full House stuff, because they made so much money off that show.
Yep.
Laugh your way to the bank.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do. This has been Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein.
I'm Josh, not collecting any royalty, Schaefer.
Oh.
Oh. And I'm Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.